Okay, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much. Today we are actually looking into the internet guy. His name is Steve J1. He's one of the people who are actually offering to offer free service to Marwa. In particular, this was the free internet. So I don't know if it was free or it was supposed to be paid for, but we are gonna discuss that more about it. And today I'm actually joined with Kung Fu Fanta. So I will just give him time to introduce himself, and then we will take a break shortly to wait for people to come around. Thank you. Kung Fu,
Yes,
welcome.
this. Thank you very much. This is Mr. Nice with Kung Fu Fanta Show, and I'm here today to help support Kin and Reactor. And we're, like you said, we're gonna kind of go over what's been happening between I am Marwa and Steve J1 with the Wi-Fi, the cameras, and I guess the missing phone.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kung Fu, for joining me today,
You're
and
welcome.
also to come to support me too. So I will just decide to we take a break for 30 seconds or thereabout, and then we allow people to come in, and then we can start the discussion. So I'll just put the countdown for a minute. So welcome back, welcome back. So I actually didn't say good evening or is it good morning from where you are.
Well, it's good afternoon over here now,
Yes,
where I'm at.
yes. So actually here it's already for us it will be good night. But we have to get things going. So Steve J1 actually is I don't know his profession, but he seems to be one of the persons who will be jack of all trades because at the moment right now in Kenya people graduate and it's a little bit hard to get jobs, and people will be looking to working something that can get them going. So actually what I see from Steve J1 is one guy who is so smart, who is looking for his daily bread in any way possible that is possible for him. So I will prefer to say he's the male version of what we have with Meds at it, the one who's giving Marwa, utensils. So and the nets for sleeping and the ropes for what she says she's a hustler. She's somebody who goes out in the hand to actually find link the buyers and the producers or the people who are selling wholesalers. So I find Steve J1. Sorry, I don't know why I'm saying JT. Maybe I was doing a reaction on him, and maybe this is why his mouth is coming out. But in essence, I'm talking about Steve J1. So Steve J1 is one particular fellow who I I believe is the first people who changed the narrative of actually from giving Marwa cows, goats, chicken to actually something like we are bringing a business that we could partner. So I don't know what was running in his mind, but I think he came with a very brilliant idea to actually introduce business, to Maro, because Maro was just receiving goats, and so he's one of the first people. Him, and I think another guy from the solar. So
Yeah, I'm not sure who is first in doing that. It's kind of like a blur for me personally, but from observing what I've seen as far as about when that started, when Black Man the Animal, if I can remember, the first guy to send a goat and I think a couple of chickens to him on that first day. I don't think he is the guy that really came in with any business proposal, other than trying to get a collab out there. And then we also know what happened between him and Manugno on the exact same day, I believe. After that, it's kind of a blur on who came next and who started it. Because as far as the solar guy, to me, I think that was a little bit later. Steve J1 was definitely up there and one of the front runners. A couple of construction people and some interior decorator. So I'm not sure exactly who started it. I don't know if it was Marwa's idea to try to get people who actually have companies to volunteer in the very beginning. I would think that it would be his idea because he's so cheap and doesn't want to pay for anything. And I think his whole idea is that, if I give you subscribers on your YouTube channel and you do $50,000 worth of work for me, I call it fair. That's the thinking of I Am Marwa to me. So yeah, but as far as Steve J1 as being a jack of all trades, it's I kind of question this whole idea of him setting up the Wi-Fi in the very first place because everybody's talking about, okay, Wi-Fi is to the village, everybody can get Wi-Fi, this and that, and I knew for a fact that there's going to be problems soon thereafter, and sure enough, there was. And a couple times I've seen the actual Wi-Fi router on the wall, in the main room where the gypsum ceiling is, and that's just a standard small family home modem router that you would use for maybe if you had the highest speed. If you're paying for the highest speed, you might be able to do 5 to 8 different devices to run off that one modem. But there's at any given time anywhere from 10 to 50 people at a time using that same modem. So there's automatically going to be some problems. Plus, I know in that area, even if there's fiber, they don't have the best internet speeds in that area from Safaricom, if Safaricom is actually the provider in that area. So it could have been Zuku or it could have been somebody else. I have no idea because we don't really know that information unless somebody caught that in one of somebody's videos on who the provider is. If it's Zuku, most likely it's going to be pretty bad internet connection. With Safaricom, it really depends. You're either going to have really good connection or you're going to have really bad connection. So again, there's a lot of variables. We don't know exactly what's going on, but I knew there was going to be issues, and sure enough, there is. And even with the new guys that you just brought in, there's still going to be issues. It doesn't matter if one guy just graduated from IT and the other guy is in computer science. There's still going to be issues because the way it's set up, it's not set up for a professional setting to where you can have at least 50 clients being 50 users that can use the internet without any issues. And we're talking using the internet in more of a business capacity where there's no 4K video playing, there's nobody downloading huge files, stuff like that.
So I'm glad actually brought about that the issues that you said. Solving the situation doesn't need another person to actually correct what Steve J1 has been allegedly claimed to have done wrong with the internet. So because I'm looking in this perspective, there was a flip-flop arrangement with I Am Marwa, not only from the internet but in many other aspects, where Marwa depends on people to give him free service. And what I know about free service is that when you're given free service, you will have to take it how you're given. So it's just like a gift. You cannot decline a gift. You have to take the gift. So Marwa has been depending on free service, but what he needs actually, in essence, is that he needs a professional service for his villa. He needs to have actually people who are educated in doing this particular job that is allocating the job to, because it does not happen to only the internet. It has happened to the plumbing, with the camera issues also now becoming an issue because of related to the internet. So what you said about him not trying to solve it the right way, I find that to be very true, because I find Marwa is just looking into saving. But you see, the problem when you want to save and you're using free service, or even when you go to the public space and you get a free data from the city council, it's always not perfect. It is always just a shoddy internet where it cannot help, and in most cases you actually lose data. And one thing that was running in my mind: why did they have to go to the school to put the mast for the internet there? Okay, I know they're looking for higher ground, but Maro is somebody with money. He could build a big mast on his house. His house is already up there, so he could put up a mast on his own house to receive the data. Because depending on a third party, to receive the internet, and then like what you said in particularly, like
Zuku and Safaricom.
wall. No, the ones on the wall, they
Okay.
cannot serve that. It's, I think the maximum is about 15. This the Wi-Fi routers, not the company offering the internet, but the cabling and the routers that issue the the one that gives the internet to the people who are using it. The D-Link on the walls. Because what I know, like a school, back in my school, one of my schools that I schooled in, we had a big monitor where the internet was being run from. So I had expected something like that from Marwa, because that's a 7-bedroom house, and him being a content creator and him expecting guests, I wouldn't expect that low budget internet. That is like for just a family connection. It works better when you are just around the family, like 10 people or 10 gadgets max, or 15, because I think that D-Link only supplies to only 15 people.
Right, but first of all, you got to consider the actual source of the internet connection. What is the capacity of that source? Another thing you have to consider is how good is the wiring outside between the home and the wiring to the utility company that's providing that service. Is it good enough? Can it handle the bandwidth? That's another factor. And all the way to where the internet is coming from, all the way to the house, we're talking many kilometers away. All that's going to take a factor. So now let's say you had the very best. Let's say the very best wiring was from the source to the villa. Now, how good is that modem router? That's another factor. Can it handle 32 MAC addresses? Can it handle more than 32 MAC addresses? MAC address being the actual ID of a device that's embedded into the firmware, so you can't change it. So a phone has its own MAC address, a computer has its own MAC address, then another computer has its MAC address, different from an IP address. So with all that being said, all those do make a difference. Just having somebody who knows how to set up a Wi-Fi router and maybe point repeaters around the home to get better connection in different areas of the home where the router is shooting that signal to. That person can't guarantee, if they don't know how good the wiring is, how good the source is of the internet provider, and all that other stuff. All they probably know how to do at best is how to set up the router and get Wi-Fi in the home. And that right there is not what you consider an IT guy. That's somebody who just knows how to set up a basic home router. And so therefore, when they run into issues, like I said, I knew there's going to be a lot of issues because there's too many people there. That's all you have to think about is the number of people who are going to overload that router, trying to upload their videos, trying to do live stream. Like today, before we started, I was watching a little bit of Finding Ian, who's from Nabahanzi. Now, I just happened to catch one scene where the video was buffering really bad. You get those big giant square chunks in the video. Okay, so obviously to me, he was using the Wi-Fi router from Marwa's Villa doing that. So people are complaining about that's buffering, that's doing this, it's doing that. And then during it got a little bit clearer because he said in the video, I just switched over to about I don't know what he said, like
data, personal data, like internet from his
from his Safaricom, right? So he switched from the Wi-Fi router to that, which he has to pay for, which ended up being a little better. So he's the only one using that data, while everybody else that was walking around with the phone doing live streaming was using the data off the Wi-Fi router. So therefore, it makes a difference. So that router is not set up for that. It's not designed for that. It's designed for maybe one person to do a live stream, even at 720p digital quality, SD quality. And then all the others are probably just browsing the internet, but not watching any videos.
Yes. Yeah, because I'm glad that you brought about the bandwidth, and I think there's also I'm not actually very educated that much with internet and connection. I just know a little bit. So there's also something known as megabytes per second. Like, is it a 250 megabits per second?
Yeah.
Yeah, megabits per second. So I also know that has to go with the quality. It has to do with the strong connectivity of that internet. So if you have
Mhm.
lower megapixel, you will have a poor connection. Actually, before where I'm living, I do not have data, but where I was living some 2 years ago, my landlord had put 750 megabytes per second, and the internet was super fast. Like you download anything, it was going so fast. You had the best connection. Like you had no relays. You upload videos. It was so easy. And understand what you're trying to say about it depends on the company, and also it depends with the provider, because some providers could be in Kenya. We have some I know. Okay, I have not even said hi to I am Lucy. Welcome, I am Lucy. But somebody like
Hi,
I am
Lucy.
Lucy will understand there is something known as internet mwitu. Yeah, yeah. There's something known as internet mwitu or internet yam Somali. That means it's internet that has been pirated from another company. So
Ah,
it, I don't know the internet they are getting. Is it from because there is somebody could have internet from Safaricom and then decides
mhm.
to become a distributor, sell it to other people. So that affects also the quality of the internet that you will be receiving, because once somebody can buy maybe 1,000 megabytes per second and decides to share it out, by the time it will be going to 10 people, the internet strength will have gone lower. So
Right.
I don't know if it was connected to the main company. Was Marwa receiving the internet from the main companies that are there? Maybe Safaricom, Zuku, Telcom, Jarmi Telecoms. So which company was offering, or was it a secondary internet whereby it's been because now there are people who have decided to sell internet on their own. So I know there's some people in Nairobi and Mombasa, big cities, whereby they put mast in big houses. So they have one place they have bought the internet, and then they distribute that same internet all over the city, because they have their own boosters on top of the buildings. So it's easy to, like what Steve J1 was trying to do, looking for the highest place, and then he could easily tap it there. So anybody who want internet, he will tap it from the school. So is it that kind of situation? And also, another thing, what just I'm Lucy said, free and cheap is always expensive. It's true. I don't know why Maro has to do this, but uh, I know money could be a little bit of problem. You need money to finish your stuff, and you need some things that you desire. But I think some things take time, and the earlier you know this, that things take time, it's way better, because you keep on rushing things, put up yourself in mistakes, and then now you have to employ somebody to start all over, and then they'll start saying that, every technician has his own way of doing things. So maybe the way Steve J1 has laid the cables is not the same way the new guys will be wanting to lay the cables. They will have to redo it. And if imagine if that was actually being paid for, because if these guys are not being paid for, they're gonna do something, and it's not going to solve the situation, and then they'll have to call a profession, and then the profession will say, no, everything that was done was all wrong. The first guy, the second guys, and the professional guy will come and say everything is wrong. So I think for me, I don't think Steve, because one thing I also see is that Steve J1 tried his best, because from my understanding, I think he bought this gadget. So he's trying to work with these gadgets to actually provide the internet. So for the internet to arrive at the villa, for me that's an achievement. For me, I see that as an achievement, because it is not Marwa's money. It is not Marwa's gadgets. It is Steve
Mhm.
gadgets that actually made that, like it's like discovering the villa for the first time. The internet was discovering the villa for the first time. It was not something that you could hear about, internet connection at the villa, but Steve J1 made it possible. So why they fall out with Marwa on issues like the internet was just off, that was, for me, that was very childish. That was uncalled for, because if somebody already brought the internet, it means there's some capabilities. If he's facing some challenges, you could sit down with the person and try and sort the issue out. I don't know what you have to say, Kufu.
Well, the thing is, from what I take it from his videos, he's a Nairobian. So he lives in Nairobi. He came to Nambahanzi. So he obviously had to do some type of research while he was in Nambahanzi. He probably did that prior to coming there. He probably waited till he got there. I don't know if he struck the deal before he got to Namahanzi with Mara or until he actually got there and said, "Hey, this is what I can do for you." But I want to give a little bit of breakdown. I could go deeper, but this is what one company over here in the States offers. It's called
Yes.
Xfinity. It's a cable company. They offer TV, mobile phone, and internet. So here's some plans that they have for the internet. They have 75 megabits per second, which is the slowest. Okay. Then it goes to 200. Then it goes to 400, 800. Then it goes to 1,000, which is 1 gigabyte per second. And then it goes to 1,200. And they also have one that's professional that goes up to 10 gigs. So basically, you're looking at 10,000 megabits per second, and that one I think they charge like $300 a month. So, and that's usually for the businesses here. Now, with the 75 megabits per second, which you can get with that, is you're going to get high definition download streaming for like Netflix and things like that. You could do a live stream like this, no problem. It's suitable for a home for about a half a dozen people. Okay. But when it comes to like 4K videoing, even just for one person, there's going to be a little bit of an issue. So if you want to go up to the next step where you can watch 4K pretty much without any issues, you want to go up to the 200 megabit per second speed, which they're charging right now. If you sign a contract, it's $20 a month for the 75. And then you just pay an extra $10 a month for, a little more than double the speed. So that right there will allow you to get 4K and do some video conferencing, like, face to face, like FaceTime. And I forget what the equivalent of Google is for Android, but you can do that with the 200 megabytes per second pretty flawlessly. Then you could go to 400 and it just gets better and better as you go up, but you're spending more money. And basically, I have no idea what the speed is there that J1 was able to get, where he was able to connect to. It doesn't sound like it was hardwired from, any particular type of utility pole to the house. So if it's done wirelessly, that's even a harder issue to deal with than having good enough cabling that's coming from a utility pole to the house. So actually, let me give you a quick example. If you had good utility wiring on the utility poles to the house with no issues, like it was done the right way, and you're paying for 50 megabits per second, and then you're trying to connect the house wirelessly to somewhere else to connect to, like you were talking about, that shared wireless stuff. If they were offering 75 megabits per second, that wired 50 megabytes per second is still going to be more reliable than that wireless 75 megabits per second. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be more reliable.
I understand you.
So there, because there's less chance of interference.
You can also get good service.
Right. You can also get interference through cabling. So if the installation around the wiring is not good enough to block out other wireless, it could be from walkie-talkie radios that police use. It could be from mobile phones. It could be from actually wind. So you know how when it rains and it's windy, the internet is worse. That can actually cause interference. Just the moving of the wires causes interference. So all that stuff is a factor. So if there's better shielding on the cabling outside with that 50 megabits per second, and it's all connected correctly, again, that's going to get better service than that 75 megabits per second wirelessly.
True. Yeah, and actually, I see Yvette saying that Mara don't understand anything like these details.
Right.
Yeah, because I remember Steve J1 came around and said, you need an upgrade, Marwa. I said the equipment for you, but you need an upgrade. And I think the upgrade was attached to monetary value. and I could see Marwa not taking that advice that Steve J1 was actually giving, that he needs an upgrade. And for me, I saw that Steve had already identified the problem, that yes, the internet is here, but this flopping in and out, it needs an upgrade.
Right.
So he brushed that out, the classical Marwa. He brushed that out, and I saw Steve just decided to let it go. This is also the problem, Kung Fu. People are going to shout out, and quickly as you go to for shout out, you realize you are being turned to something else. Your good gesture is being turned to, to make you think otherwise about you trying to assist another person. Because I think at the moment right now, Steve J1 might be thinking, was it a bad decision? Because for the last two videos he has been creating, I could see a lot of frustration in his mind. And, he's saying that he's blessed, he has the building. And, those are signs of somebody showing that the money that I invested over that place, I should have finished my building. I could see the pain. He was talking about something different, but you could see the pain that he's feeling it. I took my time not to make money, to assist a brother who would later come and say, I tried to steal a phone and I'm not a good person, and I'm just, my work was shoddy. And in essence, actually, I saw even him trying to make the pastor actually, like, he was trying to imply the whole work between Steve and the pastor was just shoddy. And I was like, man, this is the classical Marwa. He will pick you up when you're new. By the time he lives with you, you're either empty, or you're used, or you're actually having it at the bad side. I don't know how it's Steve J1, but we'll be taking it from there. But the last two videos, his body language could tell you that this man is frustrated. He wasted his time to assist a brother who was trying. He saw the good thing Marwa has been doing in his own eyes. In his own eyes, those are not my words. In his own eyes, Marwa has been doing a good job, and he thought that it would be better to support him. But now he's realizing his building is actually standing halfway, money gone. He's getting hit from every corner. The Marwa minions are actually attacking him for the shoddy job. And the thing is that Steve J1 comes and says there is no power at the school where where the internet comes from. So if the school had internet, then at the villa we should be having internet, because we are having power. And also, I like the way he highlighted. He said, you guys are looking at my internet issue as a problem, but have we talked about the power issue? The guy for the power came and did his job. His job is incomplete. And that proves, because everything Marwa does is incomplete. The fish pond is
Right.
incomplete. The internet is incomplete. The wiring is incomplete. The tiling incomplete. There's two last rooms that were, I don't know, movie house and gym. It was incomplete. So actually somebody could access the house. And sometimes I don't know, I think I've not mentioned about it, but I was thinking about it. This guy was living in a house that never had doors. you know
Mm-hmm.
Somebody of his, you know it, it, picture this, Kung Fu. I think we have gone a little bit astray about this discussion, but let's think about it. The front door was not missing. It was only the glass doors at the front side, to the pavilion. So the front door was missing. The two, I don't know, gym and movie house was open, so somebody could easily come and access the building. And also, his room had no door. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
where Christmas list was staying, those are door. And I think that was created because of Genyada. Yes, Genyada. I think that's the name. The door was
Okay.
put there because you could see the door was actually different from the rest. The door was wooden. It was like something quick. put up there. So Mar was living in a room where it is having no security. And sometimes you wonder if somebody doesn't care about himself, his financial information has gone out. Everyone knows that he makes about their $20,000. If somebody is fishy, will come and attack him. Has he ever thought about this? So that situation gives you an explanation of who Marwa is in particular. If he's so careless with his own security, yeah, okay.
No, what I was going to say is what I've noticed in the last 24 hours watching the reaction videos of where Marwa has the two IT guys with him. And he started to talk about my Wi-Fi guy. I don't want to mention his name because I have nothing
Yes.
against him, right? Well, obviously he has everything against him. One thing I didn't realize when I first saw that part of the video is how close the ceiling was to all the three of those guys' heads. And then that to the left of their shoulders, that the ceiling was going downward. It wasn't until this morning I looked at, I think it was on trending because I was trying to catch up, that where the monitor is for their control room, quote unquote control room, is under the stairwell where you cannot even stand up. You have to sit on your butt or on your knees. And what kind of control room is that? And he's got all those extra rooms that don't have any windows. It's like, couldn't he have actually thought if he wanted to do it professionally, like use one of those rooms because he's got at least 5 of them, use one of them as a dedicated control room instead of trying to save space, save room, save whatever it is to put it under a stairwell where somebody has to crawl under there in order to basically look at the security of the home. I mean, that to me, that's just crazy. That tells me where his head is at. That's obviously that was his idea to put it under there. I'm sure that nobody, Steve J1 or anybody else would ever have thought of putting a monitor there and using that small crawl space as a control room. Because that's what it is. It's a crawl space under the stairs.
Yes. And actually, Vet has just said, Lucia said, poor planning. There's actually poor planning in everything Marwa's doing. And, I'm a student of BSc Engineering and Management. In essence, I'm supposed to graduate, I'm supposed to qualify with production. So actually my course is looking at the losses, how you minimizes, my course is actually how you minimizes the financial part on engineering. And this is actually where it gets my, when I'm looking at what Marwa is doing, I sometimes I get sick. I'm like, who advised this guy? Because he's losing a lot of money. Yes, I know it's not my money. And also it's not his money because the money apparently is from YouTube, what he's doing, and also donations. And mostly, I don't know, 50% of the house is through donation. So he's actually wasting money from his own
It's way more than 50% because remember the parents' house when him and Dusty Dante admitted
crying.
it was 100%. It was 100% begging. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, the house is 100%.
So nothing came out of Marwa's pocket out of that. Like at first, if you're just listening to him, oh, I'm building my parents a new home, this and that, get them out of the old one, get them into a new one. And without talking about any details until you find out after the house is done, no running water, no electricity, but still it was 100% donations by begging his subscribers. So what is his house? What is his villa?
And his rich brothers.
Yeah, his villa has been nothing but begging. So how much money do you really think came out of his own pocket?
Also begging, and also, yeah, and I think that makes a point because why is he wasting the money so much? People have already warned you, and I know the reactors have talked about it, but also I know the people who are staying with him, close to him, the people that wake up together, they watch our channels, and I've this guy is wasting money. And I know many people have warned him, have told him about what to do right, but I think he keeps on assuming. And that makes sense because if the money is not yours, why should you care? It will always come,
Right. And I want to be surprised with the land that he's been buying, that he probably has some small little, and I wouldn't even be surprised, like a storage unit dug underground so he can have some place in case
Mhm.
everything falls down. He has a place where he can go and hide. You know, his other properties has forest. There's a bunch of rocks in some places. They're hilly in some places. I can see him having some little tiny, just a tiny little thing just for himself, just so he can hide away. I wouldn't
Yes.
be surprised because if you think about it,
Yeah, because
he doesn't like spending his own money that he gets from
Mhm.
YouTube. He only wants to spend the money, and even hardly at that, spend that money that he gets for free from other people.
Mhm. Yeah, and it is sad that it's goodwill with these people, yes, but he's taking now advantage of them because you're investing in things that really don't matter. Instead of finishing up the house, you are there constructing something that has structural defects even today. I saw the videos from other people. They're trying to construct it. So when I look at the way he runs his things and what he's talking about, Steve J1 not making a good internet connection, I'm like, but this is the labor of who you are. You know, you are not falling far away from who you are. This is you. Uh, G, Steve J1, he could have failed, but it's because you did not support him. He bought these things. He cannot keep on buying for you everything. So you're supposed to have come around, upgrade the internet. Get better gadgets. It's good that he gave you the idea, but why don't you take it upon from that place and increase it more, double the impact? And that's how to build somebody. So that makes me even believe: are you really building people's channels, or you're just using them for your own? Because look at this, Kung Fu. I've discovered this. There are some people who watch Marwa, but they are not willing to. I don't know. It's like they are not willing to send Marwa the money directly. So now the new YouTubers, if somebody goes there and catches heart from one of the subscribers, sees that this is a good person, they connect to that person. So anything that Marwa needs, it will be through them, you know or either Marwa doesn't even respond to people because he has a problem with responding to emails and calls and everything. So I don't know what is running in. Like the organization Marwa has is like just Lucy just said, it is just poor planning, and they're just going on autopilot. Like it's an autopilot that is blind, just going. Like wake up in the morning, or put up a room here. Wake up in the morning, make a swimming pool, make a fish pond.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
this fish
yeah.
pond, move them here. Will repair this fast. Oh, I think somebody needs to go and check the clay bath. Oh, remove everything now. Let's rebuild the clay bath.
Mm.
I'm like, man, man.
That clay pit, by the way, looks like something out of 1980s Beirut. You know, I mean, you look at it, it's like it's went through a war zone. You know,
Yeah.
it's ready for war. It also reminds me a little bit of Nazi Germany with all the barbed
Mhm,
wire and things like if the enemy's coming to rush in, they're going to get injured on their way in. You know, it's like I don't know. It looks gross. It looks nasty. We know it's dangerous. The wall was in danger of collapsing.
mhm.
Shout out to DJ Ninja 254 because I mean he's an innocent guy. Really, he really doesn't know what's going on. He just basically
Yeah.
tells the news what he's been told, and when he tells it, he shows it, and it's like, oh wow,
Mhm.
thank you, DJ Ninja 254, because if it wasn't for you, who knows if we would have actually seen this stage of the clay pit and the the dire situation that it's in. He was actually showing the cracks in the floor on the other side of the wall where you stand in the floor,
Yes.
right?
Mhm, mhm.
And the way that their idea of putting it back together is crazy. And they rerouted the stream, right? And the stream where it was coming out, it was cemented right there.
Yes.
And where they rerouted it on the other side, it's pure dirt. So now without harding, giving it a hard surface, so when the water comes out on the other side, it's now eroding the mud, the dirt from the other side of the clay pit.
Yes.
And when I saw it, I was just like,
Mhm,
"Whoa! It's
mhm.
acting fast. The water is not slowing down. It's acting fast. It's taking away dirt, And now they're going to have another issue. We're going to see more boulders
Yeah.
and all that other stuff on the other side. And it's just a mess. It's just a pure mess, dangerous mess at that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And let's not
And
forget.
I don't know if you,
No,
yes.
go ahead. Go ahead.
It's
Go
okay. It's
ahead.
okay. Just continue. I have the point still with me.
No, I was going to
Okay.
say
So, and also, I don't know if you have noticed. Hmm?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Sure. Continue. Okay. So, I don't know if you have noticed that they actually decided to use mortar and stone now with no more. The gabions are now being put with cement. They're no longer, packing stones and leaving it. They realize that, okay, Kung Fu and Kenyan reactor might be right on what they were saying, because the water is coming so fast, and we remember we said about they should have a structure that is similar to a bridge. That
Mhm.
gabion thing doesn't work on where there's water bodies. Where there's water bodies, you'll actually the stones work when you are on the river, but the second structure that you should have cement should not be the normal one that you're using to build a house. It has to be the one that they use to build bridges, and that's what they need actually at that particular place. And I think
Well,
clean.
let me tell you
Mhm.
what I've seen for many years just watching construction sites, similar to let's say what they're trying to
Yes.
accomplish. Okay, first they'll shore it off with a wall, like either brick or cement wall, so they get that going, right?
Yes.
And then they put in fill, and that fill is going to be
Uh-huh.
mixed with gravel and dirt, both. Okay, they pack it in there. That's
Yes.
to be between, like, say,
Uh-huh.
the soil and the
Uh-huh.
wall, and then the wall is facing the water, okay? So they put all that
Uh-huh.
in there, and even with the Gabriels, I've seen that before too, but still they have, like, a wall on the inside, they shore it up with the gravel and the dirt mixture, whatever mixture they have, they top it off with cement, they have the Gabriels, they top it off with more
Uh-huh.
soil in certain places in some of the construction sites that I've seen, and then they put plants, they plant plants on them so it holds that soil. It's not just for beautification; it's
Uh-huh.
just to hold that soil. They really don't need that, but if they want the extra, little, whether if it's for beautification or for security, or maybe some nearby shrubs that don't need to be washed away, they'll help add on more soil, and they'll put in more shrubs, maybe some trees, so that way it can hold the soil. Okay, but underneath all that, the way they got it, they don't even have the gravel and the dirt combined compact together. All they talked about, from what I remember DJ Ninja saying, is that they put some support rods in there. And then he said, when he pointed and said, these are stones that weren't here before, and he looked, they put the cement in between them. To me,
Uh-huh.
that's just like they just slapped, there was no organization. They slapped them on there and put a little cement on there. And
Yeah.
it's just no organization. And they have all those huge giant gaps in
Mm-hmm.
between the Gabriels that you could just he's filming it. You can see it all over the place. Not just the
Yeah.
very bottom, but all the
Mm-hmm.
in-betweens. There's too many gaps. And then where the barrier was when they were first constructing that wall a couple months ago,
Yeah.
I remember them putting that wooden barrier there. Well, that was in danger of collapsing in his video.
Mm-hmm.
So they were rushing to make sure that that wall does not collapse.
Man, when I look at that, actually, the part of the clay pit
Mm-hmm.
really sadden me every time when I watch it. I'm like, it is as easy as possible to just build something like a trough, you
Mm-hmm.
know. The best thing was to do. I think we explained in your video that they should harvest that clay and build a trap, like a place where, like, something like a small swimming pool where somebody you could actually sit and your hands could be popping out, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and harvest that clay, put it in there, and close that place, because that will never, whatever they're trying to do, they will be always trying to fix that situation. It will be an expensive affair. And because what we have, the rains that we had today was El Nino, but we always have strong rains on April. So it means that by the time we'll be having strong rains in Kenya every year, that place will be having problems. The gabions will be falling, you know the soil on the because the river comes because actually that clay pit is at the it's at the corner, so it means the water is rushing towards that clay pit, so there'll be always distraction. That's why they have put bags of cement with some sand, I think, in it to
Yeah, yeah.
destroy that, to break that water, that water from attacking the gabions, but
Yeah,
that won't solve anything.
yeah, I remember them doing that, but after a while, even that's going to be an issue.
Yeah,
So that's just a temporary thing,
that's the negation. Yeah,
you know.
yeah, it's a temporary. It's a very temporary. So one thing that I know, you can never play with gradient. I don't know if people know about gradient. Gradient is that the flow of the water follows the contours. So if the
Mhm.
contour at the clay pit is below, I don't know, if the river, it's from the clay pit, if the river is 5 meters above, five, okay, let's say 5 centimeters above, that is already a problem. It means the water will be coming into the clay pit, you know the water will be coming into the clay pit. So, and when the water follows the gradients towards the contour, I don't want to sound so much complicated, let me just make it this simple. If the water is flowing above and the clay pit is below, that is already a problem. It means you are actually on water level, because the clay pit will be the new water level. So it means that soil that is on top of the river will have to go when the strong wind, the strong water come. It will have to go,
Right.
and when it means the new level of where the clay pit is, which also, unfortunately, the gabions are hanging. The gabions are hanging the gabions are hanging. So it means the gabions are even above the clay pit level. So it means when it will be time to take away that soil, it means it will also take away the gabions.
Yeah,
I
let's
have
answer a little bit
pictures of
of Yvette's concerns.
okay.
Like, what happened to the water tower? I've only heard a rumor that the tank that was supposed to be put in there is the wrong tank, so that's all I know about that. And your other question, is there any drone pictures for the state? And you also said from Google. There is from Google because he had Google tagged his own place, but the only drone footage I've ever seen is a couple different videos from Marwa, like when the foundation, I think, before the foundation was being put down, as well as him standing on the roof. And that's over the course of, I think, a year and a half. I've seen two different videos. No, I haven't seen anybody else's drone footage. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, and actually just M. Lucis just said it's also that is over ambitious, and he wants everything. He wants to do everything, by himself. He wants to be the first. He wants to be the first person who built a house in 10 days. He wants to be the person who built the biggest villa in the village
Well,
with a clay pit, with a swimming pool.
yeah, the thing is that even if you build a basic mud house, if you want to build a basic mud house the correct way, there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. And if you do it the right way, you're going to need a
Yeah.
level of patience to make it right, so it can handle, all the extremities from the hot sun, from the rainy weather, and all that. If you just rush things, you're going to have problems. It's like that in every situation all over the world. When people rush, especially on things like construction, they're bound to find issues, and it's going to cost them more money down the road to fix those issues if they have the money. Otherwise, it's just a complete loss.
Yeah. And actually, Vet says a very good point that expert professional help is needed to
Yes.
save that compound and that building.
Hmm.
Actually, the compound is that I don't know if you saw the fish pond. As now the fish have been transported to the next pool, because actually the first pool was packed with I don't know, sand below it. I don't know. The science was to
Sandbags.
allow water to come in. I was like, man, you don't allow water to come into the pool. It
They, they,
means
they
you're
wanted
weakening.
spring water to come in.
Uh, That's not even possible, Kung Fu.
but but
That's not
but
even.
but let's look at this. That video you sent me this morning that I watched from that young man from Nakuru who's doing the security there.
Yeah.
He went through there. Okay, it's because of the little guys like him are the videos that Marwa doesn't show.
Yes.
He showed as of, I think that video was from yesterday. He showed as of yesterday that whole side of the wall when that El Nino rain came in, that all those sandbags are still there. Those sandbags only cover up the amount of flow of water, but it doesn't stop the flow of water from coming in. It's still dirty sediment water. And there's a spot just outside that first tank to the one corner. He says there's fresh spring water coming in, and he goes, even though you see a little pipe, and he showed it close up, there's just a pipe to make it pipe through instead of just the dirt. I saw a bottle cap right next to it. I saw a litter in the area where the water is actually coming in. If it's fresh spring water, there's still people's little pieces of plastic that was just thrown there. So it's not fresh, clean water as this young guy was claiming. And the other thing too is that what I've noticed is that most of the water from the first tank was gone. It's seeping into the ground, most of it. Because why is it seeping into the ground? Because the bottom part of those tanks, all of those fish pond tanks, are all dirt. They have not been cemented. What they need to do, what Mara should have done, is got somebody who's an expert at building swimming pools in the country to come out, pay the person to seal it off and do everything right. And that little thing he called a dam or something like that to shore off the water to the side, it's just a square, it's like a pit, and they're drawing water from it to go into it. He said the water was clean, but the water was dirty. All the water everywhere was dirty.
Oh, yeah.
And then he went down on the other side of the house where the last fish tank is to be, and you look at the bottom of it, it's all dirt. There's nothing cemented about it. And then he was talking about with Gitu, was talking about it on the first tank where it has the sandbags. He goes, yeah, we're going to put the tiles right here. We got the tile person coming. I'm like, wait a minute. You don't even got the walls finished and you want to put tiles there? This stuff is all backwards. This is stupid. This is like trying to open up a grocery store. First, you got to make sure that everything about the grocery store before you even put up shelves is working, like the lights, the water. Make sure there's a paint job, done. But yet you have somebody trying to put up potato chips in the middle, and you got 2 months away to go, and somebody's putting up potato chips, but all the other stuff is not done yet.
Yeah.
And people are looking in the window like, what in the hell is that person doing with the potato chips? And they haven't got a paint job, and electricity don't work. It doesn't make any sense.
and trust me, the highest bill Maro could be paying for power in that house is about 6,000. According to the house that I see and the cabling, if he was to have power in his home, he could have paid 6,000 every month. But he wants to be smarter than the government, than the Kenya Power. He says he wants to install his own power. And I remember I said that sometimes Kenyan government and offices can have funny people. You remember, I've said it many times. Yeah. I know there's somebody who sat and said, this guy thinks he is the boss. Let us show him who's the boss. Actually, right now, there's somebody at the Kenya Power must be laughing him buying fuel and getting donation to get fuel. There's somebody somewhere who is laughing at that, because if there's this connection of power in the whole village, in most cases they will always send an emergency. There's a number that you call. It's a Kenya Power emergency line. So that emergency line can even come from Nairobi, if they don't have the requisite equipment. But for a whole month they have not fixed it. There's something wrong. I'm closing my mind that is not right. But I believe there's somebody somewhere must be offended by what Marwa said or what he's doing, and actually is fighting him to the pocket. He is actually feeling it. And now that he's receiving donation of fuel, that person must be crawling on his floor right now. Like, now he's not even having enough money. He's running out. Now he has to depend on donation for the fuel. So
You,
I
you,
believe
you
there's somebody who's actually messing around with the power, because
probably so. Probably so.
because if because in Kenya, Kung Fu, you have been to Kenya. If people know that you have money, the community even could come to you and say, the power company doesn't have uh, the money to purchase this. You could purchase this on behalf of Kenya Power, because before, if you wanted to get power to your house, you were paying for the poles yourself. You can imagine why many years ago in Kenya, people did not have power. It was very expensive to put power to your house.
Mm-hmm.
People were paying to about attuned to $4,000. You can imagine. This is an African country. Not even now this situation where the economy is a little bit better. That day when Kenya was in sanctions, because of the regime at that time, Kenya had a lot of sanctions. A lot of aid was not coming around. So, and it was super expensive to put power. So they still have the same situation even until today. If you want to have power, you have to pay an upfront money, which is called the connection fee. It's there about 35,000. This is the rural electrification program. Yeah, they pay around 35,000 shillings. Rural electrification program. They pay around 35. I don't know, maybe they've increased to 40, but it's about that figure. And that figure was brought down by the government so that could allow people to reconnect. So I know there was somebody in the office could tell him, if you could pay us 1 million, we will get a bigger um, transformer to fix the whole issue at the village. Because it's not that, what Marwa is giving us is like the whole country is in darkness. Sorry to say, but he's making to look like there is problem with Kenya power in Kenya, and it's like it's all about Kenya. But it's actually just in Nyabohanse, it's around Nyabohanse. And it's only as quick, the quickest thing could be done is a transformer, because his house has how many lights, how many sockets does he have? It's already an overload to what the required number was there. And I was shocked to hear that he was on another line, and then they were transferred him to that line that was going to the village, and then it caused a blowout
Transformer.
the transformer. So it means that his house is a problem. With the power issue, his house is a problem. But the problem is that his house needs a lot of power. So he should have put the bill for that. He should have gone to the company and tell them, please, I'm going to pay 3,000, I'm going to pay 5,000. The money that Dante gave him for solar, he should have just taken it to the office, and within less than a week, he should have power, so that when the party starts, there is power. And then the bill will be even much cheaper. 6,000 every month for that house. It will be a good price. Even if it's 10,000, $100. How many people donate to him daily? $200, $300 in a day. That could be easy for him to pay. But him just being the classical Marwa, he decides, okay, to hell with those guys. I'm gonna find my own solution. I'm gonna fix my solar, and then you back away from the solar plan, and you go back to your generator, to depend on your generator. And now he's feeling it.
Yeah, you're welcome,
But that
Yvette.
shows you he is in. Yes.
Well, yeah, I've been laughing really at Lucy and Yvette. Solar panels without the batteries, and I forgot what Lucy said.
Yes.
Something related to that.
Mhm.
But anyway, oh yeah, fuel with I was thinking fuel for the generator, but maybe if somebody bought a generator, then think of the fuel, or they bought the fuel and then think of the generator, thinking there's a generator. But I was thinking about if I had some extra money to just spend, I'll go to Nabahanzi, buy I don't know, maybe a 2-acre plot, build a grocery store. But as I lay the
Mhm.
foundation, my next step would be not the walls. I'll just buy groceries and start putting them in place, and then I'll go for the walls. Then I'll go for electricity. Then I'll tell customers to come in and buy. Then I'll wait for the roof last. I mean that's how I'm thinking. If you really think about it, that's how Marwa's doing this. I'm gonna do the foundation. I'm gonna go ahead and put some groceries in. So the groceries are next. That's the most important thing next on the list for a grocery store, and everything else comes last. It's just mind boggling, because when also that young man, that same young man that you sent me the video, and he was showing the reality, and he didn't understand the reality. he was showing the reality of the fish ponds. He was walking on the side of
Yeah.
the pit where they're going to lay the pipe, right? And remember, I told you, and I was laughing about
Yes.
it, is that in this video, guys, this young man was saying that he started talking about plumbing and that he's a plumber and that he worked 6
Mhm.
months cutting pipe only as a fandy, I think is what it's called, fandy. And then he went back to something like he's an actual plumber to just a helper of a plumber back to a plumber. And then I put in a comment in that video and I asked him, are you a plumber or something like that? And he replies and says, yes, I have experience. And I go, well, are you an actual plumber or do you have experience working in plumbing? Because the two are very different. The two are very different. Are you an expert in
Effort.
plumbing or do you, and I'm waiting for his reply, but still the
Mhm.
reply was, yes, I have experience when I asked him if he was an expert. You
Yes.
know, and this is this is crazy because and then I think you told me if somebody does the research in Kenya, they're an expert or they're experienced. Something you told me in WhatsApp today.
Mhm.
Can you remember what you said? Because it pretty much sums it up to me. If you just look up the information and then you can call yourself that person. Okay. This is what it takes to be a journeyman plumber. Okay, now that I read it, I'm a journeyman plumber.
Okay.
You
Oh
know,
yeah,
and
I told you. I told you he might be a plumber from experience by just looking.
yes, yes.
You know, like you could see somebody doing something, and that happens in Kenya a lot. Actually,
Mhm,
even my first job, I actually learned from somebody, like the real estate business. I
mhm.
learned it from people. I did not even go to school to it, and I think I've said it many times that I do not have credential to do that, and apparently the law is not as strict to prevent me from not participating in real estate because I could participate in real estate as a person of my as a person of my own identity. So the person is engaging with me. If they will require me to prove that I'm educated in that field or not educated, it is now the law that will put me into task to explain to the person that I have only learned this through observation, practicing it, and also learning from people. But I've never gone to school to write an actual exam to qualify for this job. So
Right.
in Kenya, you could actually uh, hone skills that you do not have papers for. And people would the people really do good jobs sometimes. I'm not saying that it's a quack business or it's a quack way of doing things, but some people actually do even better than people who have gone to school. So maybe after some years, maybe 15 years, the same trade, you get that experience, and learning from
Like maybe Mayugno. Mayugno seems to actually know what he's doing,
and
and I don't know if that's where all the problems started when he left the project.
and
And
you mentioned about Mayugno. That's a very good thing. Have you noticed Mayugno's house is in order,
yes,
very much in order. You could see him squeezing himself still in his small house. He doesn't want to rush to finish,
hmm
And I think he rushed to put the floor on the main house so that he could come and concentrate on this other house. So I think for him, I don't know that like because it's also confusing because he's building two houses at the same time. So I think he's trying to strain position whereby people could donate to him more money. So I think that's why he did that. But you could see actually some organization in Mayugno, and his building is coming out pretty well. Actually, I've not been following him so well, but I've been seeing some of his videos of late. How the building is standing out. The interview from I don't know Jalango TV, I could see he put a very nice uh, uh, wall cladding, a very nice decor. You could see the house has been planned so well. It doesn't look like a house that will be like, okay, we need to rebuild something. It's like pick up and go to the and it's good that he did not build a mega house like what Marwa is doing, because by if Marwa had done and trying to act huge and big is causing a lot of problem for Marwa, and then also him going for free things, yeah, because I see also I'm saying Kenyan reactor is doing all this nonsense to get sympathy and donation, right? He is doing this, and I beg you, Lucy, people are watching him because of what he's doing, because he's actually making a fun of himself. I'm 100% sure people from abroad who are watching, either Kenyans, either Americans, either Jamaicans, either people from any other part of the world, they're watching because he's actually creating not actually sympathy, but he's also creating drama. Like, I know that people who are watching him are asking themselves in their minds, what is the government thinking about this guy? Is he for real? Because what Marwa is doing, it is impossible to do even in America. And to some extent, I find like when I see people from America supporting him, I'm like, I know you're supporting him. Why? Because you're making you're finding this guy to be funny. Because how do you do such a building and expect to have the best results? How do you depend on free things? You expect to have the best internet, to have the best plumbing, you know? So right now, I'm not read a lot. Vet says, let's see. Okay, I didn't see what Vet said. Okay, I see his house is from Mars. He actually wants to build a pyramid and everything. To him, he wants to build something that is out of the world, and he has conflict of mind on what he's planning. I find him to be somebody who wants to do good for himself, but he doesn't have a plan on it. Because if I was to be him, he would have worked on water first before
Have you ever
anything else.
seen like some paintings where it's like a mess of a bunch of different things in a small area?
Yes, yes. It's like
So
somebody, an artist who doesn't know to draw, something like this. And
yeah,
it's actually expensive right now.
because all I can see is like a Marwa with this face somewhere, like could be on the top of the painting, and then his villa underneath his head, and then all around you got a little bit of trees here, cut down trees there. You have a pond around the house, kind of like back in the days of an English castle with gators in it, crocodiles in it. A couple of cheetahs, in the painting with some chains on them, so they're being walked by somebody, a security person. The clay pit in the bottom left hand corner of the painting is, like I said, it looks like Beirut, something out of Beirut from war. I mean, it's just to mash this thing, holes all over the place, water tanks and whatever all over the place, tents, you name it. It just looked like one scary painting. Like this is what this guy wants. Plus the fish ponds. Let's not forget that. Plus the gate. It just looks like a big mess. All I can see it is like a nightmarish, I don't know, movie poster. Like serious.
They, I don't know why the other gate has not been put. It is only one side. I mean, sometimes to understand Marwa, you need a lot of mindset. You need a lot of afterthought. You need to be yourself. If you just watch Marwa just blindly, it can get into your mind. Really, some people, it could get into their mind, but the people who are supporting him, and I know it should be getting into their mind, they are doing it for sheer fun. And Marwa is actually knowing this, and he's also toying around with it. So he's taking us round and round and round and round. And uh for what I see also Yvette saying Mayugno was not paid by his boss. It could be. It could be.
He's making his own money now.
Yeah, he has his own money, and maybe
He
he doesn't need Marvel anymore.
he no longer works for Marwa, actually.
Yes, yes, and he already honed the skills of begging and how to entertain the guests on his channel. So he doesn't need Marwa for sure. And And I think I saw a place where Maro is complaining, why is Mayugre running away? I think something like this. He's actually feeling it. And I beg you, right, this part will end with a lot of beef, a lot of backstabbing, a lot of putting people's name in mud. This guy did this guy stole my stuff. Maro is not good. This is gonna come so fast as we have never seen. Because I think we had mentioned some few days ago that Wodemaya had the same situation, the same arrangement that Maro is putting up, and it didn't work so well. And it
Yeah.
ended up with people fighting, calling Wodemaya a cheat and everything. Trying to put things put Wodemaya in the wrong location. So I feel like it's gonna happen soon for Marwa. And I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm thinking about. Uh, yes.
Well, I got a couple ideas that in the future down the road. One idea is the government would take over as some capacity, like confiscate that land if it's even possible, and turn in that quote unquote villa into a new police station in Namahanzi, maybe even the jailhouse. The second one, the idea I got is that it's going to become a new tourist attraction of the crazy YouTuber from Kenya, right? The failure YouTuber, the wannabe king of Namahanzi, the whatever slogan you want to give him that he's been given so many times, different slogans. People are going to come just to take pictures of what could have been the failure of Namahanzi. Not him necessarily, but just the compound. I look at it as being something like one of those two types of things. So now I'm just waiting to see if that's what. And some people are probably going to hear me say that and say, "Oh, he's waiting for the downfall of Marwa." No, I'm not waiting for the downfall of Marwa. I think everybody knows, if they really think about it, the downfall of Marwa is coming because he made it that way. I'm not waiting for the day for him to fall. I just feel that's already going to happen. What
He
I'm
already
talking
cast his
about
vote.
is, yeah,
He, he,
what I'm talking about is what it
the
could
keyword
look
is
like
he cast his vote.
after he's gone. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yeah. Because I think he already cast his vote. He already took his fate. He
Hmm.
chose his card, and the card is in. So there's no way of pulling out. He's already in it, and the consequences are coming. So what you're talking about, because you said some like the government could repossess the land. Yeah, if the land will be, the house will be found to be causing, it could cost people's life. For a fact, the government can pull that house down. And and also, another thing I know, that apart from pulling the house down, the government could actually block that house from being accessed even by himself, the owner. They will take that property.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
the people who he needs to watch out are WARMA, WRA, that's Resource Authority, I think,
Hmm.
and NEMA. Those are the people that he needs to watch out. Those are the people who will crucify him, right? Because now
Yeah.
they're getting a lot of support from this new government, because this new government is about green. So,
Hmm.
and if you are destroying the environment, trust me, this president that is in charge right now doesn't like that. So he might be having some little bit of problem on that course of action. And I don't think they could take it to be a police station. Maybe they could make it be maybe a clinic or something. If they
Or
would, the government,
maybe a
yeah,
water
yeah, if
treatment center.
yeah, maybe a water treatment center. And yeah, because there's a clinic in Litain. It's like, I don't know, 500 kilometers from where Marwa stays.
Hmm.
It was built by AIC Church, I think, or AIC Church. Yeah, the people who raised money from I think United States back in the days.
Hmm.
So they have a treatment plant, and they have a hospital next to the river, which was converted later to be a training school. So that's what normally government can do. And in most cases, it's those people who, or the people who do that planning are the people, the leaders who are around from your community. Those are the people. So he also needs to be careful with those leaders that are living with him. The MCAs, the member of parliament, those governors. You are a young person trying to do what they have not done. So, there's a lot of jealousy in it. We are not actually saying that it is us who we are not jealous actually of him, but there are people he needs to know that they are jealous of him. Somebody who's jealous of you wouldn't come out and say things about about you. The people who are jealous and hurt you, they will do it without even you knowing. They will just attack you. The moment you want to know it, they already did the attack. So that is all about him getting a punishment from the government. I see also saying okay, this is it. So Emily says, so it looks like both side effects. His fans enjoy the drama and Marwa benefits from the donation. It's a win-win situation. Yeah, it's a win-win
True.
situation, but this is the thing. It's a win-win situation at the moment, because the person who is actually
Your audio cut off. The person that's actually what?
there's a because any construction that is happening, there should be an engineer who comes and inspects from the government. I don't know what happened with Marwa's property. I've never heard of. I think it was only once when they did the first floor, but thereafter I never heard about any investigation that was being done, because the county government have people or the NCA, National Construction Authority. They normally send people to check the buildings, and structural defects like what we're having, that the upper floor is leaking. That could be serious problem. Another thing could be a problem is the plumbing issue. And then also there's another issue that could bring in problem: fire, waste disposal. That sock pit should not be there. In a wet area, you should not have a sock pit. You should have a septic tank, whereby all the residue in that villa, either from the kitchen or from the lavatories or clock room, I don't know, whatever the name you want to call it. So they should be in a septic tank, so that when it is full, a truck comes and pulls out everything out and goes and disposes it in a treatment plant nearby. Maybe from the county government or whatever the place the government is gonna designate. Maybe it's an empty landfill. This is where we are gonna put the residue. But for him to have the sock pit, I know and the sad thing is that it might be legal right now to do the sock pit, but as the years are coming by, we have people who are actually looking into this right now. So they're like, what are the effects of sock pits? Like the diseases like cholera. Those are the things that are caused by something like sock pit. Because if your neighbor digs a borehole, it means all that liquid from the sock pit goes to the neighbor's borehole, and that person can get sick. So if somebody reports that he's always sick from drinking that water, the geologist can come and do a research and find out the water has been contaminated because somebody put up a sock pit. And if this gets into parliament, they can enact a law, and sadly it can even be even in 2 years, and it means you have to redo whatever you are done. So you have to do now from build now septic tank. You can imagine you are living in your house and then you are told to just redo it, or you either lose your property. So I don't know who advises him, because when you're building something, you have to focus. Tomorrow you have to look at the side effects. You have to look at the like what you require in terms of money, what you require, like the clay pit. It is just a waste of money. all that clay is being washed away every single day. And the thing is that they were saying, oh, it's not. You remember Kung Fu? They said the clay is not getting out. It's still there. It's still there. Yes, it's still there because, but slowly by slowly, it's been chucked away out. It's been left out. Every day we are losing the clay. If it's of that important, you could harvest it and put it in a big basin in the compound next to that, maybe that swimming pool, or next to the house, wherever you want to put it. So it's the same situation. uh when you're building a house, you have to do a forecast. Will this house be able to stand for how long? 1,000 years, 3,000 years? I think, Kufu, you have gone to Mombasa, where you have seen the Fort Jesus that was built more than 800 years ago. It is still standing strong.
Right, because it's built out of limestone.
Yeah, it's the same. That big, because that place was a big rock, and they carved out some places and just cemented it and added the middle part of the house was the fort was built, and it's over 800 years, and you can't even believe it is even as strong as even Marwa's house. So the people who are building, they are looking into the future. Will this house stand? So Marwa is building a house. Did he look into it, staying for that long? The I don't know what they called it. They had a name for it. The first tank where, the biodigester. They said the biodigester. The engineer was thinking about biodigester. So the biodigester is actually very small. That volume of that house for that biodigester, it is actually small. That biodigester belongs to Mama Ann's house. You cannot have a biodigester that small for that particular house.
Right.
I don't know the young man from Zambia. Is he the one who gave these plans?
Well, okay. He's not the designer, but
Yes.
he's like an architect in school or
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
So he got that from somewhere else, but I guess that's the one that Marwa liked, because basically on what Marwa was trying to describe, what he's seen in South America, whatever, that was like the closest to what he could say. That's what I want. And maybe they did some adjustments because if you think about all the kitchens and where they're placed in that house right now, I don't think that was part of the original design. Like having kitchens in some of the bedrooms, I think those were just add-ons. So I think the architect basically probably just readjusted some of the drawings for some of those things, for those amenities.
Yeah. So actually, even I'm looking at. Okay, we'll talk about this later. So because if somebody is an architect, will know that in this type of house that has, I don't know how many bathrooms, 5. You have 5 bedrooms, five bathrooms. It means the volume that you need, the volume of the septic tank should be actually bigger. So I do not know. Did the architect end at the house, or is he involved up to the, because when you're doing an architect drawing, you have to actually look at the, how the light will come into the house, where the septic tank will
I'm not
be,
sure
where the
that.
water will be. All
I'm
this
not
has to
sure
be
that.
planned.
Yeah, I'm not sure that. All I remember from a long time ago, before they even laid the foundation, that he was walking with Marwa on the compound, and then that was the last that I've seen of him.
Yes.
He was gone after that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen him in the comment section of other videos, like every once in a blue moon, and that was it.
Yes. Oh yeah. And sometimes trying to understand what is happening in Yabanse, it really gets into my nerves sometimes. I'm like, are these real people? Are they real people planning real things? Like, even Yvette says,
Wonder that myself.
yes, my Ignos did. Sorry?
I've wondered that myself.
Oh yeah. A lot of times. You wonder, like, are these people actually really looking into themselves? Like the situation between Mapopo. I actually watched Mapopo's house. it's well constructed. There is actually I could see plan. Experience of like understanding how a good house will be, and then when you're constructing over the years, you'll be wanting to have a house that that is well planned. So I see Mayuguno and Mapopo having a good construction going on because they're actually getting it from their own trade. This is what they are doing for a living. So, and I with what Yvette is actually trying to say, there was a fallout between Mayugno and Mapopo, and actually goes there and says that the issue with Mapopo is that Mapopo was actually trying to tell to the people that Mayugno is actually lying because of the kid, and I don't know what might be the issue. Maybe the kid was not getting what Mayugno was being given by people who were giving donation, and maybe that's what made the fallout. I really don't know too much about Mapopo and Mayugno, but they started so well. And I remember even people asking Mayugno to allow Mapopo have his channel, and it took a little bit of time to convince Mayugno to open the channel for Mapopo. So yeah, it's a selfish world. That's what I can say.
Now let's talk about Namahanzi just for a spot, and I'm glad that I've watched over the months to know that, thank God, not everybody in that village is the same way, because I want to say this: you have the Marwa of Namahanzi, and then I want to say you have the people that are like Marwa of Namahanzi, and then you have the people like It's Ernest of Namahanzi, and you have a lot of other people who's like It's Ernest of Namahanzi. So they're definitely from the same community, but they contrast very differently. But there's still a lot of them are related to each other, but they don't think the same. And you know how you've even said it a few times. I've heard it for years. Many Kenyans will say, well, there's a certain village mentality that doesn't work well here, or it doesn't work well there, or it doesn't work well in certain societies of Kenya. But I find it that this particular village with the Marwa types, that to me, it's not like the other village mentality that other people have told me about or try to describe to me about of the village thinking way in Kenya of some people. I just find the Marwa types are people who have no ability to reason. That reasoning just doesn't exist. And to me, that's so dangerous. Really, really dangerous. Can you imagine that type of mentality actually running the whole country? But I mean, you're from there. Tell me the difference between what you might think of the, I guess you could say, the quote unquote Kenya village way of thinking versus the Marwa Kenyan village way of thinking. Is there a difference, or is there not a difference? I can't hear you.
Okay, so there's a lot of difference, yes, in these villages. There's some villages that actually people are outgoing. People moved out of the village, even made life out of the city. People went to schools, and in this village, actually, the way I'm looking at it, it's like it's at the border of the Kenya and Tanzania. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is that it could be like, because before we never had a county government system of governance. This is just like it's less than 15 years now. So that's why we are seeing a lot of development in these villages, whereby it had to be the president to come around and give you support. So in most places like the border, uh, the people are left, people are forgotten. Like in Kenya, upper north, where we still have it gives Kenya a bad name, because when you talk about Kenya, people always talk about cattle rustling. Yes, people killing each other, young kids with guns, and this is the thing. We're talking about democracy. We're talking about the way of leadership. We're talking about government services reaching to the people in terms of health, education, and agriculture, sustainability of the people. Like the government reaching to the local citizen. In Kenya, we call it the local Wanjiku or Mwananchi. That is in Swahili. So these services are not there. So because even before when Marwa started putting his village, we could see a lot of poverty in that place, and it's not about even the poverty, because the poverty sometimes attacks the mentality of the village or of an area. And I believe that these people were actually forgotten all the years. So they're just coming up. And 2 days, I don't know, 2 days ago, when Maro was looking for pigeons all over with Rocio and Gitiriba, he met an old man who wanted to buy pigeons from this old man family. And this old man asked him, "Are you from Nyambohanse?" He said, "Yes, I'm from Nyambohanse." I think I sent you the video.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he said too. And then he says, "I'm from Ondari." And then the old man said, "The Kisii man, you are the Kisii people." So you could see, actually, in essence, it's like even I Marwa's situation at the village, they are actually seen as foreigners. So how they are treated there as not locals. And you remember, they were not even living in that particular place they're living now. They were actually living at the center. So they are seen as
Right.
people who came. They are foreigners. Even the thinking of Mara is a little bit different from the rest of the community, because they are believed to be people not from around. And when you're seen when people see you not somebody from around, so your values will not be the same as that of the village. And that could be one of the causes why they're having a clash with everyone. That's why Marwa doesn't have friends. Maybe that's why the Marwa has issues with the neighbors, has issues with everyone. He's alone. That could be one of the issues. Maybe Marwa is not is a courier. Maybe his dad was a courier, because we do not know whose dad is. But you see, the thing is that he's under the umbrella of David father, who is
Right.
Mstafari. So they were actually seen as an outcast. That's the thing. That's the word. They're seen like an outcast, people who are not from our village. And that 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 actually doesn't help, actually, when you are in a certain environment. If you're in an environment and people see you from somebody from another place, and they don't respect that you are a Kenyan, that shows even the mentality in the village is quite different. Because in my village, if you come, people are welcome. We are living with almost I don't know. I'm from Nakuru, so in Nakuru we have almost all the tribes of Kenya in Nakuru. Yes, so people they are open-minded. People know many instruments, and I'm sometimes I normally look at Marwa. He doesn't even know how to use the gas. I'm like, okay, you've been to 70 countries. You don't know how to use a gas cooker, like the ovens. You don't know how to, many things. You could see him saying he doesn't know how to use it. And you could see the joy when he saw water shower in his own room. You could see the joy in his eyes, like he's like, man, it's like, I made it. You could really see it. But
Right.
if you come to my village, even if they've never seen it, or even if they don't have it, sorry, if they don't have it in their home, I think they will have seen it somewhere in the city. So it's for them, it's not a new thing. So the village mentalities in Kenya really matter. Places that were forgotten by the government, the mentality there can be really bad. Like in the north, you could get into problems. Living in the north could get into problems, because people are literally wild. People are fighting, and then because of the government services not going there, people not getting education about land usage. The land has become somehow arid. it's dry. It's getting dry. All year come in, year come out. Animals are dying. People are fighting amongst communities. So the mentality in every part of Kenya is different. And beg you right, Marwa doesn't have Kenyan fans, bigger Kenya fans, because whatever is exposing is actually exposing a village mentality, you know, and that could be rubbing a lot of people from even watching him. There are Kenyans who are watching him who can relate to what he says, but some people would be like, like for me, I would be like, yes, we have this, but please don't show it out. Just walk, just heal out from whatever you have, heal from those traumas you have. It's a new world. We are in new dispensation. We have a new constitution. We have a new way of doing things. There is law. There is requirements of what you are supposed to be doing. There's a way of building houses.
Right. So let's talk a little bit, even though it's kind of open.
Yeah.
We started off with Steve J1. We're getting close to 2 hours, but let's talk a little bit about what happened
Yes.
in the last 24 hours with the particular video that me and you have been discussing in the back. Mama Ann in that video she took down.
Yes. The video was really disappointing where Mama Ann, or the grandmother to the grandchild, like literally, you could see people even crossing the borders, the motorbikes. Literally went in, removed the clothes of the kid, and forced that kid the shirt quickly, like using force. You could see like there's no care. This grandchild is actually suffering. Yeah. Yeah, you could see actually this grandchild is suffering. It's like he doesn't receive enough care, because this is a shirt that has buttons. The grandmother could actually just open the buttons and put the shirt slowly on the kid, but you could see him forcing. It was a sad watch for me. I watched. I was cringing. I was like, but for me, I was not even looking into that. I was looking into what made you to do that. It means even your mind and heart is not at that child. Yeah.
Right. It's like
it is the son of your daughter.
I wasn't putting two and two together immediately. Like when Anne was talking about the person donating 1,000 shillings, and first I was thinking, oh, please don't let it be Chris, Musty Chris. And then she said Norwegian. So obviously, because I noticed she has her number, her M-Pesa number in the description box. So I guess somebody sent her 1,000 shillings via M-Pesa from the Netherlands. And I was thinking, okay, this is great. They bought him a school uniform. But, the grandmother's behavior, again, it didn't click right away until maybe a few hours later, after me and you talked about it, that she was probably activating donations, and the grandmother was in on it. And the way the grandmother's behavior was, like, this part I noticed right off, but I didn't connect it with maybe donations, is the way that she was like rushing to put the uniform on, forcing everything, and then trying to get that shoe on his foot. Trying to get that shoe on his foot was like, the shoe didn't want to go on. She wasn't. I think the guy that was standing next to Anne told her to loosen the shoestrings, because after whatever he said in Korea, basically that's what she did. She started loosening the shoestrings to get the shoe on his foot. And also, the boy was stripped naked to a point. And I think the video was taken down. So I'm thinking that somebody complained about it. And then YouTube warned Mama Ann that because of it's a child and there's nudity, you're going to have to take the video down, because it wasn't like a video strike or anything like that. I found it sad, and I found it really disturbing that, first I was saying, please subscribe to her, because I've heard a lot of things about her that she's been taken advantage of by certain people, especially Marwa for his donation stuff. But at this time, it's like, has she been told to do the same thing, or did she get the idea watching everybody else do it, and then she got the idea that now I can try to do it? I don't know.
There's no other way, Kufu. There's no other way. If you've seen people how they succeed is by slaughtering the goat and selling it, even if it's your neighbor's goat. slaughtering and going to sell it to anybody outside there in the market, you will come with no other solution. You will do the same. So it's a
Yeah.
monkey see me. I don't know, monkey. What do we normally say? It monkey see, monkey do.
Monkey
Yeah,
see, monkey do. Yeah.
yeah. It's a monkey see, monkey do. So, because also these people are not exposed to YouTube. The person who's exposing them to YouTube is Marwa. You can imagine people coming all the way from Mombasa to come and learn about YouTube. People coming all the way from the United States to come and learn YouTube at the villa. So it's a monkey see, monkey do. Yeah, business. People are learning directly from the source, and they will not do anything away from that. Even the people who will live later at the party, I beg you that almost 70% will be begging online.
Yeah, and I made a video a while back that it was Marwa that brought the YouTube begging culture to Namahanzi. And I've noticed that she's one of the people that he has not tried to get his subscribers to subscribe to her. You know, I wonder if that's because a lot of the reactors and other people have been rooting for her to like do better in life. Basically, she was used as a symbol for him to benefit, and she got nothing out of it. Because it doesn't seem like he really treated her fair. He just like used her, and
Yeah.
noticing that she doesn't have 1,000 subscribers yet. That I don't know whoever encouraged her, whether it's herself or what. I'm glad she has a YouTube channel. I just hope that she goes in the right direction, and because there's a lot of people out there that from all
Mhm.
over that love her actually, and that she can go ahead and just
Yeah.
make money through YouTube, and then whoever wants to donate out of the kindness of their own heart, go ahead and do so. But at the same time, I don't want her to pick up bad
Yes.
habits from the YouTube beggar, who we all know as Marwa, because
Mhm.
that's only going to transcend
Mhm.
down to her children. That behavior, and that's something I don't
Oh
want to
yeah.
happen. And then again, it still keeps coming back. This still bothers me, is the grandmother trying to force that shoe. It's like a couple times it looked like she was going to hurt his ankle, like seriously sprain his ankle while his foot was in
Yeah.
the air.
Mhm.
And I can't get that out of my
Mhm.
mind. And if that
Mhm.
was all over trying to beg for donations, it's like, God, you got to stop now. You have to stop, because
Yeah. And
this is
actually, you
being
could
done
see
the
the
wrong way.
face. The grandmother was not even happy.
Right.
Yeah, and you could see the grandmother not happy because in Kenyan in African setting, yes, if you happen to give birth to okay, let's say for example, Kenyan reactor gives birth to a baby with a woman of certain community or certain place, and my wife passes away or my
Mhm.
girlfriend passes away, because that baby actually is mine, so the full responsibility should be on my side. You could see a lot of frustration in the grandmother. I could see a lot of frustration. That frustration, they will never speak about it, but it is always there. They will be like, I'm suffering taking care of my grandchild while the father is around just roaming.
Hmm.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
thought about that. Yeah, I don't know if you thought about that, but that could be
I
the
thought a little
frustration
bit.
that she's actually having right now.
I did have a little thought that she's going to take part in taking care of him. What I was not thinking was the father aspect
Mhm.
of the child.
Yes, yes, yes. So there's that frustration, and you could see she's also getting tired. After
Hmm.
going all that struggle of educating all those kids, and then you have a new one again to take care of.
Hmm.
It will take a toll on her. You could see it, and also to the people who I think she might, because she has done a lot of interviews with Pashwa TV. I don't know Pashwa. I don't remember the name of these channels. These are the people who might have influence, because all the time people have never gone to Mama Ann's home because Mara banned people going there. So it is only the TV that went there, the Jalango TV, I don't know, Pashwa TV, this Judy Kitui TV, those channels. So there might be the people who may be motivated, or just like, okay, we are seeing people coming here, succeeding in their own endeavors, and we are here looking, and we need money too. So There could be a lot. It could be from those people who are coming to interview them, the family. Like, why don't you do YouTube like just like the rest? It makes
Hmm.
sense. Yeah,
Right.
the shop is not doing good. I don't see people coming to buy anything from the shop. Yeah, everything is gotten from Marwa buys everything from the border, from Tanzania actually. Use a border to
Mm.
bring it.
Cheap.
It is, yeah, cheap. So what do you expect? And he even says it that he has his own way of doing it. If the police catch you, they will put you in problems. But I have my own way. I'll tell you off the camera. I'm like,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And you know, the thing is that, if I was there, to be honest with you,
mhm,
I would have a serious talk with Anne. If she would permit me to, talk with her, I would have a serious talk with her.
yes,
You know what I mean? And and I'm not the type of person who has like a savior's complex or anything like that. I'm far from it. The thing is that when you see something wrong or you see somebody that's being guided in the wrong direction, it's like there's like an impulse that people have naturally, if you
yes,
really think about it, and parents are usually the first line of defense for that for their kids, is to let their kids or let somebody know that they care about that, there's something here that you need to know that you probably don't understand, and that is something that can hurt you down the road in the short run or the long run. This can hurt you later.
yeah,
And so all you're doing is actually trying to go in there and not necessarily correct, but give that information to that person so they can make a better decision for themselves. And if they don't want to take um, uh, information that would help them, then there's nothing you can do for that person. But I just feel that, I would love to actually speak to her, because I've seen her be talked about and shown in a way that she has been nothing but a tool for
of,
somebody
of
else, for
for
somebody
financial
else's benefit.
financial benefit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
And I feel some way about that. I really do feel some way about that.
mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm sure other people have thought the exact same way. I mean, I can't be the only person
Yeah,
that's
and
thought of that.
I'm happy. I'm happy they took upon them to open the channel because they have a lot of goodwill on YouTube. So it's quite easy for them. I don't know why they have not gotten 1,000. Maybe the people have not found out about them opening channel. They need to do maybe a lot of collaboration, something like that. But it's good that they've opened so that they could actually benefit from it, because I don't think the shop was a good benefit. The soup business closed down as quick as possible. And you remember Maro warning us about it. It's like, I will never help this family. I have helped enough. So Marwa knows something that he did not tell his subscribers, that this family has problem with money management. So YouTube could be. I don't know why they never. The first people who could have gotten YouTube channel was Anne's channel. You know.
Right. But,
Yeah.
Marwa has shown and has said he wants to be the king of the village. So he wants to be the king of Africa. And this is what we get. This is what we get to see. We get to see all this, I would
Oh
say,
man.
mind manipulation,
I know.
destruction going on coming from
Man.
Marwa.
I know. I don't know. I don't know what is like from American perspective. When people watch what Marwa is doing, I know people will be laughing. I know for sure. I know
Oh,
people are
definitely.
like, "Oh man, this guy is not real."
Right, right. They would think
I don't know.
it's
People will be
they would
like,
think it's
"No, this guy
comedy.
can't be real."
They would put it in a category
Yeah, it's comedy.
that no, hold on, no, they'll put it in the category of Housewives of Atlanta. So if you ever seen an episode of
Yeah,
that, so
yeah.
basically they have to
And
get
I
a
beg
different
you, right? That
title, like the crazy villager of
yeah,
Kenya is probably what the name of the title of the show would be, but it would be in conjunction with the people who wrote the scripts for Housewives of Atlanta. It'd be that crazy, you know.
yeah. And I know that they are looking at it like pure comedy, but also from the perspective like he's giving us raw details. Like this is not like acted. Like what we have House of Atlanta. It's
Mhm.
like there's a script in it, but this Marwa it's not scripted. This is actually what is the mind of Marwa thinking. Oh, build a fish pond.
Out of
Build a clay
nowhere.
pit. I was like,
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
is this
yeah. So
guy
it's like,
real? Because
thank you, Dante, for the money for the solar panels. Next day, oh, I'm building a fish pond. Sorry, Dante, for the money. It's going to the for the panels going to the fish pond. Like very next day, it's like, oh, okay.
uh,
As soon as he secured the funds, okay. And now look at the fish pond.
oh man,
It's a disaster.
I mean, my fiance tells me every day, like, you need to stop to watch this guy, because every day you watch this guy, you're always laughing. Because I'm like, this guy is unbelievable. Because anybody who is, even if you're from another country but living in America, the
Mhm.
laws of building the house, the code of ethics of building the house, are very hard. Even to get the permit to build that house, I know is a problem. So in rights mindset, I'm like looking at the people who are watching from America. That these are people who know this is near impossible. Whatever
And
Barrow is doing it's impossible to do it in America. But who allows this? Unless this is comedy.
yeah, and then a lot of them, they would love to. Okay, they would never do whatever they're doing, but they enjoy it because it's not them in that position. They
Yeah,
enjoy watching it. They want it to go on, so that means they don't care about Marwa. We're talking
yeah,
about the Americans watching. They don't give a damn about him. Okay, let's just be realistic. They don't give a damn about him. But if they saw him on the street and they're watching his YouTube channel, they would love to take a selfie with him, right?
yeah.
And then they can go back to their friends and say, "Here's the
This is the
idiot
guy.
that we all watch on on YouTube.
This is the
Look,
guy.
I saw him in New York and I took a selfie with this idiot." That's how they think. That's how the average drama king or queen of America. I'm talking about
Mhm.
TV watcher.
Yeah.
That's how
Yes.
exactly how they think.
Yeah.
And some people don't like that idea, but that's just the truth. People
That's
love
the truth.
drama, and then you have a
Yeah.
lot of people that are just saying they're going to watch it, and they know there's nothing they can do about it, and they're like, "Wow, this guy is a complete idiot. I feel so sorry for those people around him, the kids, this and that." And there's a lot of them, and they'll never say anything, but they'll keep watching because they're just waiting for the fall.
Yeah, and they're actually waiting for the end minute. Like when Steve J1 came and said what happened, you could see how many people went to, to actually, and I like Steve J1 because I find Steve to be somebody very principled. If you
Mhm,
said something somewhere else and then you come and say something else to him, he'd be like, no, because there's one guy called TD.
mhm.
He said, I'm going to subscribe to Steve J1. And then he came and said, oh, you need to go back to Maro. And then Steve
TD
J1 told
Jakes,
him,
TD
yeah,
Jakes.
yeah, TDJX. And he went straight to tell him, you are the people I don't want to be associated with. Please unsubscribe. you're, you're the people who are actually going to tell Maro this, and then you come and tell me this. So
Mhm,
there are people also who are also fueling this drama, you know?
mhm,
And Maro is taking this in. He thinks that it is, because Maro is gaining from the views and the money is going to create on YouTube. But if
mhm.
anything wrong happens, the blame will be on him. And the funny thing is that everyone will be laughing about it, you know, and
Let's
he'll be the one to take the blame. And sometimes when you look at it,
let me read this
mm,
real quick. He's the king of the swamp. That's it.
yeah,
Okay, let's go.
yes.
Okay, yeah, continue. I just wanted to say that. I didn't want that to go by. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Man, sometimes when I look at it, I'm like, me myself, I'm laughing and I'm a Kenyan. Okay, I'm a
Mhm.
Kenyan living abroad, yes, but
But you're not the
uh,
only Kenyan that's
I'm just
laughing.
looking into it. Oh, definitely, I'm not the only one. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm like, this guy, he and even one of his subscribers drove from Nairobi, took a flight from America to Nairobi, and took a drive from Nairobi to Nyabanse. And the key words he told Marwa, you do not follow rules. That's it. I was like, oh, so you guys are in for the liquid juicy, like you guys are in for the juicy part of Marwa, like Marwa doesn't follow rules. I drove the car just like you. You know, you're an inspiration. So I'm like, man, you guys are ducking this guy. You're making fun of him. So that's when I realized, I was like, oh, now it's making sense. I was thinking that people might be doing that, but it's actually that is the situation. People are actually having fun. People are having stress, working day to day. So when Marwa comes to the screen, they get that healing effect because the guy is doing something that is unbelievable to do in this world. Yeah, that we're living now.
Well, as some people say, crime does
Yeah,
pay, and sex tourism and
yeah,
favored him because other people still don't believe,
hmm,
or they ignore, or they don't understand what it is, and then they're following him after the fact. And when he
yeah,
goes overseas, he does the same thing, and they still don't see. They just see a guy traveling, but they don't understand exactly what he's doing. And some of them do know, and they just completely ignore it. And then some people are like, what is it that we can do about it? They don't care for it. So yeah, so he's got a criminal activity, which is sex tourism, amongst other things, when he's back in Kenya.
hmm.
And as you said, it might be working for him now, but time is coming. Something of what he's
Time is
doing is
coming.
going
The
to come
clock is
down.
kicking.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna get going.
Mhm.
So I don't know what you're gonna do. Are you gonna hang on?
Yes, I think we should end. Thank you for so much. I see there was a lot of people who came in today. There's Yvette, there's Lucy, Let's Go, and there's I don't remember who other person was there, but thanks for everyone for watching in. It was a great talk. We will have another one in the course of the week. We'll have another discussion also too on a topic that I'll pick later. So
Okay.
maybe you have last words before you leave.
Yeah, my last words is, if you value your reputation, if you value your life, and that means all aspects of life, of health and sickness, no matter what the type of sickness may, arise. Don't do the things that Marwa is doing. Don't follow the examples of Marwa, because Marwa basically is not a person that's a good representation of somebody who's of sound mind, or is showing aspects of being a healthy individual. And a lot of his ideas that comes out of his mouth are something that you should hide your children's ears from ever hearing, much less your own. So on that note, everybody, I'm out. Thank you very much.
I'm out too. Thank you so much. I don't have enough to talk about. See
Okay.
you in the next one.
Cheers.
Yes.